Hammer the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, give that bell icon a slap to turn on channel notifications.
Okay, now that we've got the master cylinder in, brake fluid is topped up, we're now going to begin the bleed procedure. We have to go to the furthest wheel away from the master cylinder and reservoir, which is essentially your left rear if you're looking at the vehicle facing vehicle. So this is basically position number 4, which is the furthest away from the master cylinder. Then we will bleed the brakes on position 3, which is the second farthest away from the vehicle, and then position 2, which is on the left front. Right here, we'll bleed this one. Last but not least, we'll go to position 1. So this particular brake caliper is closest to the reservoir and master cylinder. So let's go back over to our setup. So we have our hose, and I'm kind of cheating a little bit. I'm not using a flare wrench, I'm using a 10mm wrench on the bleeder valve, bleeder screw. We've got a clear hose so we can see if there's any air in the system. Hose is going into a half full container of brake fluid, so there isn't the issue of getting any air in the system while we're pumping the brakes. Now we're going to go ahead and pump the brakes and clear the air from the lines. You have to do this a few times, probably 2, maybe 3 times. So have a good supply of fluid on you, and always make sure you've got an eye on the reservoir, and never let that thing go empty. And you're going to do the whole procedure over again. Okay, so we're in the vehicle, we're just pumping the brakes, nice and slow, making sure we get a good draw from the reservoir, through the master cylinder, through the ABS modulator, and through to the caliper. So we do it 3 or 4 pumps, go all the way to the bottom, bring it up to the top, jump out of the vehicle, have a look at our reservoir, check our levels. Okay, they're lower than when we filled it up, which is fine, but we're still good. All right, let's go check the air. Let's go check the line from the bleeder screw from the caliper to the bottle. Okay, so here we are in position number 4. Looking pretty good, no air on the lines. Looking good all the way through. Okay, so what I'm going to do basically is tighten up the bleeder screw. Okay, process of bleeding, position number 3, which is the right rear. A couple of pumps because there were a couple of small bubbles of air in that line. That should do it. Here we are back at the caliper. Much better. I don't see any air bubbles in the line, so I'm going to tighten up the bleeder screw right here. Come on, focus. There we go. Remember, you don't have to put a lot of force on these. You actually don't want to do that. Just a little bit, less than 1/8 of a turn once it's snug, and then that's good. Next one. Okay, so we've got the bleeder hose on top of the caliper bleeding screw, and this is position 1, so this is the last one that we're going to need to do. There's a bottle, and there's our hose. Okay, back inside. Again, a few pumps on the brake. Don't need a lot of pressure because you're in position 1. So this particular caliper is closest to the reservoir and the master cylinder. Okay, there's not any travel. Seeing fluid, brake fluid go through on the bottle. Don't see any air bubbles in there, so I think we're good to go. Yeah, we're good. One more pump just for fun, and then we'll tighten up that bleeder valve screw. Screw valves are tight. Brake's looking real firm. So now let's go and check the reservoir and for the brake fluid. Make sure we got enough brake fluid in there. Should be good to go. Yeah, looking at the reservoir, we're right on max, so we're good. We've got the DOT 4 brake fluid, OEM from Land Rover, so we're using the good stuff, so we should be good. Just going to put all the wheels back on the vehicle and drop it down, take it for a test drive. Okay, just tested it with the engine running, feels good. Now we can just take all the shop cloths we've got in here, pull everything out, make sure you leave nothing behind, take all the tools away, do a check around the engine bay to make sure you got nothing left behind, and then just button everything up, and then we'll put the wheels back on. That one. This one's okay, I decided I'd just take 3 off. And then put the front and the rear on and get this Rover back on the road. All right, so it worked. Everything's fine. Replaced the master cylinder, bled the brakes. Had to do it several times to make sure all the air was out of the lines. Made sure the fluid was good in the master cylinder reservoir. Took it for a test drive. Brakes are tight, strong, no problems, no issues. So I hope you found this video interesting and informative. Look for comments below, and I'll respond to any questions you might have about this procedure. It's not to be feared. Unless you're question not mechanically inclined, then just take it to a dealership. That's it from the Canadian DIY guy. For now, see you later.
Hammer that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, give that bell icon a slap to turn on channel notifications.